Support for Short Stops is presented by the Caylum Trading Institute. Check out our website at www.cayluminstitute.com. On today's episode,
Kasi you would want to know kung totoo ba yung selling or illiquid ba yan?
See, that's the question. Kung totoo ba ang selling?
Yeah. Then malalaman mo sa huli na totoo nga. Kasi nasa baba na.
call it what you want, a game, an experiment, a gamble. But stock trading in the global financial markets to us is a business. Every day you're surrounded by the noise. Buy, sell, hold, buy more. And we're going to quiet it down and filter out the best trading strategies, tips, and stock picks. You want information on how to find your next bagger or home run? You'll find it right here on Short Stops.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at episode number 24. Today's episode is all about the art of selling and why is it so difficult. And so here is Mr. Pacheco and Ernest Buhangin.
Hi everyone.
Why do you guys sound so sad?
Markets.
What else?
So people often say that selling is harder than buying. In your opinion, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, I totally agree.
Yep.
When you're buying, you just have to follow your plan, and you don't. If there are no signals from your system, then you don't have to do anything. But then once you're in the trade,
Pero
once you
pag invested
bought the
ka na.
invested ka na, right? So you have to deal with so many things, so many factors, right? And the worst part is when you're in limbo, meaning you're in between. You're too far from your cut and you're too far from your profit-taking level,
Okay.
right? And you're in limbo. Those are the worst stocks, meaning
Can you
the stocks that make you wait for so long.
Can you describe what are some of those factors that you talked about?
Consider?
Or would you consider? Yes.
Yeah. When waiting to sell, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kasi sabi mo, pag buying, parang may plan ka na, alam mo na kung to-trigger mo na o hindi.
Yeah.
So what are those factors that make you question, I assume, whether you want to be selling or not?
Well, right now, the very perfect example, the market environment right now in the Philippines. Right, it's so bearish, liquidity is so bad, and obviously we're in a very bad market sentiment, right? And even if the setup is there, you're in a great company, great setup, right? And normally in a good environment, you would hold it. But right now, you have to think, wait a minute, I have to consider liquidity. I have to consider potential black swans because of what's happening in the economy right now. So it's so hard because you have to think of so many things.
Ernest, what about you? Do you agree with that statement? That it's harder to sell than to buy?
Yeah, totally. Kasi for me, yung selling, important yung selling when you're ahead, selling when you're at a loss. Kaya mahirap magbenta kasi maraming factors, which is for me, when you're trailing your stop or when you're selling on surge eh. Kasi everything is hindsight eh. So hindi mo malalaman kung tama ka eh. So yun yung mahirap sa selling kasi if you sell agad, tapos pag umakyat, emotionally compromised ka kasi parang mali ako, parang gano'n.
Huwag ka magmura dito
So, next naman, if you're trailing, you wouldn't know if tama ko hindi kasi makita mo yung possible upside pero you're holding it, so pwedeng next day bumalik. So may makakompromise ka kasi you have to sell it, na miss out mo yung move. Pero yung maganda doon is may different nuances yung selling on surge at saka selling on trail eh. Kasi yung jackpot mo makukuha mo on trailing eh. Kasi you can hold it till it goes higher. Pero yung consistency mo, makukuha mo sa selling on surge kasi take the money ka lang ng take the money eh. On the flip side, when you're selling at a loss, dalawa yan eh. Squaring at saka proper cut eh. So may nuances rin between the two eh. So if you're squaring, hindi ka natatalo pero possible na maubos ka sa commissions and you're prone to micromanaging the stock. Yung proper cut, hindi mo yung micromanage pero if you get stopped out, sasabihin mo sa sarili mo, dapat dinabas ko beforehand, alam ko na to. So, emotions get the best of each person pagdating sa selling. Kaya ang hirap kasi sa planning, tama si Chad, you just need to plan it, you just need to plan the buying, the pivot, then isipin mo na yung selling part, which is ang daming factors.
Yeah, selling is really emotionally charged. That's why it's so difficult.
So just to summarize what you said, Ernest, it's like on the selling, you have the option to sell on surge or follow your trail stop, and then when you're cutting, there's the chance that you squared or you patabla ka lang, or selling at your proper stop loss. Okay, so I think what we got from what you guys just said, is that gaining, like when you're making money, parang may problema ka eh.
Yep.
Say now, when you're making money, do I sell? Do I hold?
Do you move your target?
Do you move your targets? And then when you're losing, mahirap din. Siyempre, mas masakit sa ulo eh. Kasi talo eh. Right? So, what would you guys do to address these situations? And based on what you guys just mentioned, what is your system?
Okay. So, in the beginning, especially for a new trader, right? You're so prone to several biases. Eh? So, Ernest touched on that a while ago. Confirmation bias, hindsight bias. Right? So, when you're in the trade, for example, and when you're losing money, right? But you haven't reached your cut loss yet. You're losing money. And you start looking for reasons for you to hold it. Kahit na wala yun in the beginning. And when you're making money naman, when you're ahead, then you sold it right away. Parang ano ka na, sayang, di ba? Kung hinawakan ko lang,
could have been more.
So could have been more. Yeah, when you're beginning, you're just starting out, you go through all those biases. Right? And we're not immune to it. Both Ernest and I, and even your Edmund, have probably gone through situations like that.
For sure.
Okay, so what I do personally is I have to backtrack. I have to check my trades before, right? My previous trades, especially those wherein I had failed. So if it's, let's say, naiwanan ako ng stock, right? After selling it, especially mga informed speculation stocks, like for example, Double Dragon, your PXP, I make it a point to review it and just put context into the trade, not just technicals. Right? So what happened during that trade? Right? What was the market environment? I even go in deeper and look at the buyers and sellers, who's buying, who's selling, and just to get a better picture of how to deal with these situations.
Okay, so you review not just the technical aspect, but what was the market, what was happening to the company.
Yeah.
So you're analyzing all these other different factors that you took into consideration when you finished that trade.
Yes. So
Okay.
that just to prepare myself, so that when it happens again, then I'd be more prepared to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there like a baseline of system for your selling na parang worst case hanggang dito ka lang?
For me kasi, the only way to make selling simple is just to have an expectation lang. So important for me yung expectation setting. Eh. So we have expectations for different setups that we trade. Eh. So if let's say tumuloy pa yung trade na yun, pero you have an expectation na sell on surge or range trade lang siya or hold everything, you have to accept the consequences if it doesn't go your way. So important yung expectation setting sa planning. Eh. Of course, you plan the buying, pero important din if you plan the selling, kasi mentally prepared ka to sell na when greed sets in. Eh. Yun yung mahirap kasi on the selling part kasi you have greed and you have hope. Eh. When you're making money, you're greedy and may tendency ka to adjust your plan kasi lamang ka na eh. Parang okay na, lamang na ako eh. So, ibahin mo yung plano mo. What's important is having expectations for setups lang. Yun yung the only way to simplify the selling part. Which is mahirap din kasi if you're not prepared on the expectations, then when the trade comes, wala na yan. Parang limbo ka na nga.
I totally agree with Ernest. And apart for planning for actual stops, actual profit-taking levels, yung expectations nga, you also have to plan your time stop. Meaning, how long can you take holding this stock? Kasi wala naman forever, right? I mean, if that's what I was telling you about when you're in limbo. If you're taking parang it's just like in a relationship eh, na pinapaasa ka. For example, it's like unrequited love, diba? Pinapaasa ka na niligawan mo eh.
Kasi babalikan mo lang din kung saan.
Yeah, kahit na gaano kaganda yung fundamentals niyan, diba? Hawakan mo or you'll stay in that relationship, right? At some point, you have to cut kung wala pa rin bumabalik sa'yo, diba?
But you guys said something important kasi you guys, normally we have price stops or we have stops in place in case it gets hit.
Yeah.
You talked about time stop. And the question is, parang sometimes time plays, like as time goes by,
Yeah.
Now parang dumadami information or
confirmation bias na yun.
yeah, a lot of things, a lot of stuff now start to appear,
Yeah.
right? And time stops now becomes that's like I like to feel there's a little bit subjectivity to time stop
Yep.
because
Yep.
is it 1 day, is it 2 days, is it a week,
Yeah.
is it a month?
Yeah. So, again, I just have to reiterate that you really have to review your previous trades.
Okay.
Because once you review your previous trades, once you backtest and everything, you'll get an idea on how long. Again, that's also part of expectations. Like it should move within a certain amount of
Okay.
days. So it really depends on each person, on the system of the trader.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
You guys talked about expectations multiple times,
Yeah.
both you, Chad, and Ernest. It's also difficult to set expectations.
yes,
To be honest, especially pag selling eh.
yeah, lalo na pag new high, ang
Oh,
hirap, diba?
exactly, diba? So expectations change and they change every day. So my
Yeah.
question to you maybe is, should you have more conservative views in terms of expectations?
Well, for me, the more you know about the stock, the more information you know about the stock and the setup, the more aggressive I'd be. Right? The longer I'd hold, or the less shares I'd sell partially.
Okay.
But the less I know, the faster I take profit. Right? Even if it hasn't reached my let's say technical target yet, I'd probably take profit already because I don't know much about the stock.
Tinouch ni Chad kasi yung about sa if you know the company. So, I would like to add lang na, for example, the sentiment of the market is good.
Yeah.
Then may option ka to hold or hold half or hold more. Kasi like last year, kunyari sa Hong Kong, it was in a bull market. So, yung expectation mo is you can hold. Pero like ngayon, yung Hong Kong or kunyari Philippines ngayon, it's not in a trending environment. So, if you factor in the market and the sentiment, then mas malaking tendency na you'd rather have a time stop than to hold it. Kasi alam mo naman yung market it's very weak eh.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Maybe you can share what's the worst thing maybe that's happened to both of you.
Yung pinaka-recent na lang siguro, I guess.
Yeah, maybe the most recent ones.
Okay. So this was back in February, right before my wedding, actually. I was in PXP, right? So, yeah, I was in PXP. I was heavily invested in PXP the last week of February, and I had to take some days off for work, right? So, even though my system told me I have to sell, I didn't sell because I mean, it's an informed speculation company. Anything can happen. You know, the joint expiration agreement might have been approved at that time. So many things on my mind that I didn't want to miss. So fear of missing out. So what happened was, so I didn't follow my plan. I was still relatively invested. The first few days of March, the stock started selling off. I think it was more than 10% in one day. So, and I wasn't in the office. So imagine what Lawrence or the boss was thinking at that time, right? So, but you learn from these situations, and well, number one lesson is not to hold any large positions when you're away, when you're on vacation, right? So that's the most recent one for me.
I'm sure you had a reason also as to why you wanted to hold it in the first place.
Yeah.
Because you could have done it with any other stock,
Yes,
but you
yes.
chose PXP, I assume.
Yeah.
Right? So there must be some carrots
Yes.
that enticed you to hold on to it,
Yeah.
even though nagkamali ka sa plan mo.
Yeah. Several things were on my mind. The first one, the market was in a downtrend. Right? It was
So, pababa na yan.
after hitting 9,000+, started turning na. Right? But PXP had been holding. And then
You had your third telco still go up that time.
yeah. So those informed speculation stocks were in play, and so many speculation had been going around, right? Like that joint expiration with China, it could happen anytime, and I didn't want to be positionless once that happened. So I was heavily biased in the stock.
Okay. So at the end of the trade, what was the outcome?
Oh, I lost my whole budget for the month, meaning we're only allowed to lose a certain amount for the month, Then I lost it all in one trade.
Okay.
So, but in the end, I still had to cut. I mean, I had no choice.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that big down day,
You still cut
I
everything.
had to call the risk manager and you have to sell it. I mean,
Okay.
I just have to stomach it. Yep.
Ernest, what's your story?
Well, yung most recent ko is one stock sa Hong Kong. Stronger than the market issue siya.
Kala ko CLI.
Recently siya lang matagal na. So, yung sa Hong Kong kasi, I knew that the market was on a downtrend. So, I was micromanaging the issue. Yun yung summary. So, I had this stock, 390, China Railway. And first, yung mali ko is I chased the price. I wasn't able to buy at the proper pivot. So I was compromised from that on. Kasi the proper buying there was 680. Around 680. And I bought it at around 6.95. So from there, my plan was that my expectation there was it should move because it's stronger than the market. It's above the EMAs. But every change in the Hong Kong index, I easily get affected. So what I did, if the index goes down, I square. Then 390 goes down, but it didn't go down that deep. So when it goes back to the price, I bought back.
Okay.
Then the index again goes down. Then since I didn't want to follow my proper cut, then I sold it again. That's 2. And on the third time, I waited if it breaks 7. So it broke 7. So I bought again. Then the index again showed some volatility. So it went down. So I sold my 390
Cut
on
na
third.
naman.
Cut na
Was that
naman.
part
So,
of your plan though? Micromanaging the trade.
yeah, I was compromised now during the first trade kasi I wasn't able to buy the proper price. So from there, nagkaroon na ng snowball emotionally. So as a result, the 3 times I traded the stock, same lang yun sa pag-follow ng proper cut I got hit around 0.5% which is big na sa Hong Kong kasi volatility talaga So from there, may 2 options ako. It's either one, I just buy enough and follow proper cut and let the market move its course, right?
Yeah.
And the second is I buy and I sell right away, but I don't buy again. So those are the 2 options. So it's better for me to have a proper sizing and just stomach the volatility rather than buying and selling, buying and selling. So that's my most recent experience in terms of the selling. Then tumuloy din siya. So it's now at around 7.5 then wala akong hawak. 3 times I bought it, 3 times.
Pag yung gumalaw na, wala na siya.
Yung gumalaw na, wala na. So,
But that's Hong Kong for you.
Yeah.
That's volatility for you.
Yeah.
One of the ways, like the house always talks about to address this situation, is selling half.
Yeah.
And we could probably do an entire topic about it. And on your own opinion, how has that been so vital for your trading?
Yeah. In the Philippines, City Securities, the company, like, is already too big for the market, right? So you can't sell everything or whole position, or we can't buy a whole position in one go. So selling half, at least for me, has been really helpful. Meaning not just selling half, selling 1/4, right? Partial profits or
Selling in tranches.
selling in tranches, or whether it's taking profit or taking losses.
So let's say, mas kinatalo ka, parang scale out.
Babawas, yes. Because big picture, the trade is still valid. But then, let's say, again, you have to think about the market environment or the liquidity. So I have to manage my trade, but I don't want to be all out in one go. Because, again, the trade is still valid. Going back to Ernest's example, if he had just, scaled in or sold in tranches, then he would have been in the trade.
Still in the trade.
Still in the trade, right? Which is the most important thing, actually.
Do you have anything to add? Selling half?
for me, yung pinaka-important sa selling half is your state of mind after.
Yes.
Kasi it gives you a freer perspective on the stock kasi you've already taken the money. So, you can stomach the volatility after kasi parang risk-free na siya kasi you've already sold half.
Oversized eh.
Hindi naman. Pero if you're selling half kasi, you took the money already, then you're just going to ride the half. And the worst case is back to price na eh. So, whatever volatility the market gives or the stock gives, if it's still above your price, then you're okay. But if you don't sell half, and you've already seen it surge, there's a big chance that you're going to sell it on the way down or just sell it outright without you riding the balance. And yung importance sa balance is not just yung next day. What if tumuloy pa siya 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days? So, if you don't hold everything, then may tendency ka to sell in volatility. Hindi mo ma-ride yung bigger move. So, usually the half gives you what they call the jackpot. Kasi you can just trail it properly and we don't know, it can go up 2 folds, right?
You talked about having the sanity, especially
Yeah.
since, or being fair when you already sold half. Would it work both ways? I mean, when you're losing and then you sell half, and then and then the balance would make a better decision on,
Yeah.
mas kinatalo?
Well, for me, same din eh. Kasi emotionally, parang mas relaxed ka eh. So, if you already sold half, when the market is being sold off, then you can hold the volatility of the other half regardless. Pero syempre, may stop loss ka pa rin. You have to respect your stop loss eh.
I think for me, this is very applicable when I have large positions, and it's so hard to get out because you're already in the trade. Meaning, ang dami mo na invest na oras, dami mo na, tas palo ka na. Diba? So, selling half is like taking half the pain. Right? So after that, it becomes more bearable. Then you'll be able to manage the trade better na.
I think it's the same reason why Jesse Livermore said the most difficult things to do is holding and sitting to a trade.
Yes.
I mean, in this same scenario, because as every day comes by, you learn more factors, you know more about the company,
Yep.
and then the market starts to change, even though your companies are still doing well,
Yep.
right? Then there's still that questioning of, do I still hold? But
Yep.
I think selling half, like, at least gives you like a fair opinion on what to do next, and you
Yep.
can probably have like something very systematic to do thereafter.
Yep.
Ganun din sa selling when you're ahead eh. Kasi if you don't sell half, for example, then you would be focused on that issue. Hindi mo na makikita yung ibang stocks na pwedeng in play din kasi you're so engrossed with that
exactly.
certain stock. So it goes both ways. Yun yung ano.
And I like what you guys said. There are many biases that can come your way, whether it's hindsight, confirmation, or regret. So, is there anything else that would help maintain objectivity?
I think accountability plays a big role too. Meaning you have a partner or you have a team when you have to disclose your trades, what your plan is for those trades.
Okay.
And you have to, of course, we don't want to look stupid.
Okay,
You're
gets to that.
responsible.
Okay.
Especially if you hold a senior position in the company, right? So you have to follow your plan. You have to, and so that's also very important. And if you don't have that person right next to you who can tell you, hey, you're doing something out of your plan, or you're getting too biased in that trade, then you'd be prone to errors, right?
So parang kang may utang sa tao na yan. So that's why you have to think ahead before you do
exactly.
anything stupid, because you know somebody else is looking after you also.
Yep.
Well,
I guess-
for me, to add to what Chad said, is more of, di ba, accountability partner yung sinabi ni Chad. Mental prep talaga, yung proper mental prep. Kasi people forget the selling part of the trade eh. So kaya natin dinidiscuss to kasi ito yung nakakalimutan na aspect of trading eh. It's easy to just plan your buying eh. I'm pivot, bilhin ko na to. Pero when you're in the trade, ang daming noise eh. Doon papasok nga yung, what are your expectations for the stock? When it surges, would you sell? Kumbaga parang checklist lang on the different parts of the selling side eh. Of course, the market is unpredictable, pero it gives you an edge kung mentally prepared ka pa rin on the different scenarios eh. Compare mo sa isang tao na, let's say, bumili lang, tapos doon, hindi niya isipin yung selling, may tendency na talagang kalat yan sa selling eh.
Okay, so having a checklist and
Yes.
having also a detailed plan on your selling as well.
And not just price stops, again, time stops
Time
as well.
stops.
Okay. You guys talked about selling on surges and talked about following your trail stops.
Yep.
Can you be a little bit more explicit in
Yeah, in my system, when I get into the trade, before I even execute the trade, I already put aside a certain amount or my risk for that trade. We call it value at risk, right? VAR. Meaning, for example, it's 1 or 2% of my portfolio, my account. So once I'm in the trade and my profit reaches like a certain multiple of my risk, then I would sell. I mean, that's selling on surges on me. Or let's say it's too far from moving averages, meaning it's, let's say I'm looking at the 10-day EMA, and it's already like, I don't know, maybe at the
You mean it's going vertical?
too far from my main moving average, then I'll start selling in a short period of time. Okay, so within, let's say, 3 days. It's so.
Can you give an example on your multiple on VAR? So for example, if your VAR is, let's say, 10,000 pesos.
10,000 pesos, then I get, let's say, after a few days, 20,000 na siya.
Okay,
Or the-
okay.
Yeah. So I'll take half my position.
Okay,
already.
okay.
Right.
So yung sa akin, simple lang naman eh. If, let's say, may binili akong stock, then nag-surge siya, visual, na malaki, then I would sell half, then the other half, I would just tail it. Pero if, let's say, the gains of the stock is just small, kunya mga 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, so I'll just wait until nga yung multiple of risk is ano. Kasi minsan, hindi pa naman siya actually surge, so I wait for, siguro 2 days, 3 days of up, then I sell it.
So what you're saying is that if it's going up incrementally or rationally,
I'm going to hold.
You have the tendency to hold a little bit more.
But if it's not in its behavior, its usual behavior, a surge, most likely nga I would sell 2/3 na eh. Kasi kukunin ko na yan eh, parang bigay na sa akin yan ng market eh. So, pero if talagang pakonti-konti lang, talagang hawakan ko siya until may profit na talaga ako na sizable.
Yeah. So Ernest, let me just add. I think Ernest gave a good point there. Na if it's out of your expectations and the market gives you more than you expected, then you should be happy to take some off the table. And for example, let's say a big cap or a blue chip. Let's say sabihin na lang natin Apple gaps up 10%, right? For some whatever reason it is. Normally it would just move
1%,
0.5%, 1% per day. Then suddenly a big move. Then
Kunin mo na yan.
Yeah. Parang ano na yan eh, biyak. Hulog ng langit na yan eh.
So on the reverse, on stop losses or scratching, so I assume the scratching is more on your time stops. It's because it's taking too long. That's why you're scratching.
Yeah.
How would you identify the difference behind a price stop and a time stop?
Well, yung ako kasi that's my problem in terms of the selling part eh. Kasi may tendency ako to micromanage the position na wala pa sa proper cut. I tend to just square the issue.
Time stop ka na.
Time stop na parang momentum to, dapat tumuloy na agad when I buy it. Pero given the volatility of the market, I'm trying to adjust in such a way na first day, I'll just use proper cut, meaning the allotted budget for the loss. Then next day, if the low is higher, then I'll just adjust my stop to the low of yesterday. My expectation for the stock is that if it doesn't move based on expectation, I would sell. But given the volatility of the market, whipsaw yung kalaban mo eh. Parang you would sell it, then at the end of the day, it closes high. So
That's my next question, because normally in these scenarios, you'll have a lot of whipsaws where we break down muna, tapos babalik, right? So how would you deal with that? I mean, nasa stop out ka ba? Tapos
well, if I get stopped out, it means mali na talaga yung move ng stock kasi it should respect the stop that I made eh. So yung stop ko is the low of the pattern eh, or the low of the range. So but if it's moving still within expectation, then I would hold it on the first day. But on the second day, doon na papasok yung time stop and yung micromanaging na dapat on the second day it should respect kahit papaano the low of the day that I bought it.
Dapat umandar na yan.
Dapat umandar na. If it doesn't, then ilalabas ko na. So, yun yung selling part ko. Pero let's say worst case scenario, first day, na-hit yung stop or bumili ako, then umabot sa cut. Ako, kasi I would respect the cut eh. Hindi na ako mag-hope eh. So, ilalabas ko talaga siya. And I'll take the loss. Kasi what if it goes beyond my cut?
Yeah.
So, yun yung...
Okay, ako naman, ito yung medyo art ko eh. Okay, the more I know about the company rin, and the more factors I look for are there in that specific company setup, then the longer I'd hold the stock. And meaning most likely I will not time stop it right away. I will not scratch it. But the less I know about it and the less ideal the setup is, the more likely I'd catch it within the day pa nga eh. I'd probably sell it within the day. So for example, what I like kasi mga duration patterns, whether it's coming from a reset, a reversal, or let's say a normal coil. Right? So yun yung ideal setup ko na talagang papasukan ko ng pera yan. Tapos papatalo ko yan. Meaning, papatamaan ko na lang sa cut ko yan. Lalo na pag gusto ko yung kumpanya. Pero pag ayaw ko, even if it's a duration pattern that looks good, then I'll probably scratch it even within a day. So, dun ako, pinapatalo ko na lang talaga pag ganun.
Sometimes you'll start to see parang hindi, puro retail lang nagbebenta.
Yeah.
Diba? And then mga short-term trader, wala namang volume nung bumaba.
Yeah.
Right? So there's many like nuances in all these other statements that people say before they can actually make that final decision.
Kaya mahirap yung selling.
Kaya mahirap ang selling.
Mahirap.
Kasi you would want to know kung totoo ba yung selling or illiquid ba yan?
See, that's the question. Kung totoo ba ang selling.
Yeah.
Diba?
Then malalaman mo sa huli na totoo nga. Sila sa baba na.
Kunyari, yung B-Core, diba? Parang...
yun nga, nag-surge, tapos bumalik din, tapos...
Tapos sabi ko, hindi, wala naman, hindi na retail lang yung nagbebenta.
So doon papasok kayo
hanggang nasa 2 pesos ka na, diba?
Yung mental prep na, tsaka yung pag-respect mo na talaga sa proper cut. May bias
parang you
ka.
have to go beyond technicals din eh. Meaning, you have to understand what's really happening. Meaning kung ito, yung B-Core nga, since it's an example na, sorry sa mga taong may B-Core, no? Kung di mo alam yung nangyari, kung di mo alam kung sino yung nagbebenta or sino yung nag-ooperate ng stock na yun, and how he or she works, then you'd be stuck, diba?
Kasi ang bilis, it goes from $3 all the way to as high as what, 12?
12, then all the way, ngayon 187 na lang siya. Diba? So you can't just rely on technicals alone, and you can't rely on let's say who's buying or who's selling. You have to look at it from the big picture, which is, I understand it's hard kasi it involves experience eh.
So intuition.
Right? Intuition. Kaya nga art, kaya mahirap.
Kaya art of selling. Hindi mo ipa-price in kasi mabibigla ka minsan like yung move nung kunyari food or VUL, IRC, yung talagang sell-off.
Yeah.
If you're not prepared, baka sa baba mo pa siya ibenta. So yun yung...
Kasi normally in a very good market environment, tuloy yan eh. Ngayon, pangit yung environment, so walang follow-through. Kailangan mo, so isipin mo yun, kung IDC kahapon.
Yun nga. Yun yung mga moves na unprepared, wala.
Just to wrap things up, I mean, we've seen it from the markets today. If you don't follow your proper stop losses and your cut losses, you go from 9,100 all the way today as 7,200, 100 or even lower. So I hope you guys appreciate this episode. Learn to respect your cuts, learn to respect your stops, learn to respect price action. Even though you cut and you lose, you take that scar, you take that small loss. Don't make it snowball into something even worse. We have a special episode 2 weeks from now. I'm having Jason Mariposo come back again and to discuss more about markets and what is actually happening to the Philippine economy. So good luck. This market is brutal. All right, Ernest, Chad, thanks guys so much.
Thank you for having us.